Hi, Sue here from Mystic Matters. Thanks for joining me. Today on my Exploring Popular Opinion series, I'm going to be looking at channeling. And for people who aren't aware of what channeling is, it is certain people that are able to channel the guardian angels, archangels, beings from other planets, solar systems, and it is a very popular subject, especially through the spiritual communities and things. And there's other people who don't believe that that's a possibility, and that it's just people projecting their own ideas. So I'm going to be asking the cards to show me the energy behind channeling without, there's no direct reference to anybody that does that or has that particular gift. It's purely to see what the overall energy is behind it. And what I do is I take 10 cards for the Celtic cross, and I use my pendulum to also dive a bit deeper into the subject itself. So let's have a look. I'm getting there. Okay, where channeling is concerned, it's an interesting one because I've got the Tower. Now, for me, the Tower isn't necessarily a negative card. It's about housekeeping, and it's about really clearing out the old in order to leave room for the new. And for me, this is people that channel. They ideally, well, actually, they need to be able to clear out their own personal ideas, their own personal opinions, and not let it affect the message that comes through. Personal belief systems shouldn't come into channeling at all. It should be a pure connection where you're open to any message that comes through, and you give it without your own particular take on it. And that is the power of channeling. So it is a destruction of your own belief systems in order to open yourself up to a completely new energy, something that is new and fresh, which can take you forward. And if a channel is a true channel, because like everything, there's good, bad, and indifferent. If they're a good channel, it will create smoothness where anxiety and tensions behind you, because the messages that come through should be about showing people the best way forward. If a channel comes across with a message that is tinged with fear or anxiety, then that quite often is, I don't want to say always, because that feels a bit unfair, but it can be residues of the particular belief systems that they haven't cleared themselves, because channels, they have to be clear, they have to be pure of heart in order to be really, really effective. And yeah, it's clearing out their personal stuff as well in order to be up for the job. You can't be a good channel if your personal life is kind of is going to affect the messages are coming through. I mean, we're all human. We all have our individual lives, people to look after, or day-to-day stuff. But it's about having a belief or a knowledge that you're looked after, you're protected, and that and you're coming from a place of love for people and humanity. And that is where the best channels are found. Ones that have faced their own demons and have come out the other end. Not perfect, because none of us are, but enough to know when it's our opinion and when it's something that we're getting from a higher source, and to discard our own opinion and go with the higher source. It's a channel also needs to always want the best, not want second best. So this again is making an emphasis on being a pure channel of kind of getting messages through that can benefit mankind, and rather than put them into a state of fear and anxiety, and using being a channel as a way of putting your own personal agenda forward. So this is saying that it's got to be the best for everybody concerned, yourself, the people that you're doing the channeling for. This is what is necessary to be an authentic channel, to have the best intentions, and to, some people go into like trance, so the message comes through them clearly. There's different ways that people channel. Now, this is where it gets a bit murky, because this is about money, and this is about Midas. Everything they touch turns to gold, and often money changes hands when people channeling, and this doesn't mean they necessarily become any better or any worse at the channeling itself, or they become affected by it. But if this is how people earn their keep, there's a certain pressure there, and it makes it more difficult, I believe, in some cases, if there is money involved in the whole issue. It can take people off course a bit. So this is something that channels really need to look at, and to keep checking in on themselves. And I'm not saying that it's wrong to get money. We're living in a material world, and everybody needs to get something back for the gifts they have and the service they do. But it's important, especially in this kind of area of anything where people are really listening and looking for messages, that the channel keeps themselves clear of thinking about the money. That's the main message. The money doesn't mean they'll go off track, but it means that they need to constantly reevaluate. Where am I? Am I doing this because, am I channeling because this is a message I really have to get out, or is it because I need to do it now, even though I'm not really in the mood, but I need to because there's money involved in it. So this is a bit of a juggling game, I think. In the recent past, again, there's money and resources, small rewards for the efforts that are being made, but again, money and resources coming from the from being a channel. So there is, but it's, I said, not masses and masses, but there's certain amount of kind of recompense for being a channel, a psychic, or anything like that. It is about our intuition, and it's about, you know, living our intuition, which can make us feel very much on shifting sands, because our intuition will often take us into places that we wouldn't necessarily have gone by ourselves. It's not always logical. There is a greater plan, but unless we're in tune with our intuition and we don't get frightened about what we're being asked to do or where our internal nudge is taking us, you know, it can be a bit disconcerting if you're somebody that always likes to know exactly, have all their ducks in a row, because that's not what living through your intuition is doing. So that is again something that is very much what a channeler is or should be doing. Again, you can get there is money and resources coming from this, and that's all well and good. As I said, it's not about saying that channels can't earn money. That's not it at all. It's about making sure the money doesn't affect the purity of the messages, and their belief systems don't get in the way of the messages. That's the tightrope that they have to walk. This is money and resources coming. So there is a way of earning a living through being a channel, especially a good one. If you're accurate and you give hope and really positive messages to people, then it is a way that the universe will support you. What people see is, it's like an idea and new ideas. So sometimes it's perceived as more of an intellectual thing rather than something that comes from the heart. So if somebody is interested in being a channel, it's not something that I don't believe it's something you can really plan for. It's something that is presented to you. It's like a gift that's given, and it comes not from an intellectual place, but it comes from a place of the heart of being tuned in. But it's perceived more as a way of making money, and I'm not saying by the channels themselves, but by other people. It's like, okay, you're making plans, and this is kind of, you'll use it. You're not. There's a lot of people that believe that it's not a connection through the heart that is coming through. It's that the channel themselves have their own agendas, and they are influencing many people through their messages, because a lot of people who listen quite often take these things as kind of gospel, and there's always the people who are skeptical and saying, well, yeah, but isn't this your belief? Isn't this something that you've planned in order, because you can make money from this? Isn't it just a bit of a con game? So there's that other element that also is challenging to people who are usually quite sensitive. The hopes and fears. This is about love. It's about finding love. It's and doing what you love. So it is about, again, the heart connection. It's got to be a connection that, and it's many of the channels that I've heard speak about how they got into it is usually because they were chosen, that they were contacted, they were asked if they would be a conduit to messages that ordinary people wouldn't be able to tune into or get any other way. And it's got to be about love. It's got to be about loving what you do, because then your heart, when you love what you do, your heart's open, and you would do it for nothing. And that's what channeling is about. Something that is part of you. It's not something you have to force. And it comes, the best channeling comes from people with pure hearts, and who aren't, who don't get kind of taken off course along the way by material gain. I think that is the most dangerous thing where it comes to channeling. When the individual comes into the mix, their belief systems, their needs, their wants, and that's when channeling can be not as pure as it could have been. But at the end of the day, it's the end of an era, it's completion. Done your lessons, you passed your exams, it's time to move on. So channeling is all about just progressing, moving forward. You get to one level, and then you always constantly trying to improve, trying to get better, trying to spread the word around the world that how to. A lot of channeling is about personal development, personal growth, and that's what a lot of channels do. They give people messages about how they can help themselves, how they can help others, and people get a sense of empowerment from listening to these. So the main message here is to be discerning about the people that you listen to, because as with all things, some people are in it for the money, some people are in it in order to give their own opinions under the guise of being attached to higher power, and some people are truly in touch with a higher power, and their individual lives and personalities don't come into that particular message. So it's being discerning. But if you get a feeling of empowerment, a feeling of love, of just knowing, feeling of enlightenment, then you're probably listening to somebody that is a pure channel, and they are doing their work in the best authentic way. I hope that's been of help, and see you again next time, hopefully. Bye.